City Council, January 8, 2018 to order. If you will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by me and invocation led by Mr. Jim Triplett. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. We thanking you for all of our many blessings. Father, we thank you for the year that we just completed, for the blessings that you have bestowed on our community. Lord, we thank you for the new year that's ahead. We ask you to continue to keep your hand of blessing and protection on our community, God, as we go into a new year. Father, that we might make the most of a new year and make our city, our community, the best that it can be. Father, we ask you to bless this council meeting tonight. We pray for our mayor and city council. Father, we ask you to give them wisdom and discernment as they debate the city's business before. Father, we just thank you for all of our blessings. We lift these things up. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay, that moves us down to oath of office. Gerald, Roy, y'all down front?
They want it for you, not for me.
Yeah.
Is it on, I guess?
It's on?
Oh, okay. All right. Raise your right hand for me. I, Rory Warjick, do solemnly swear
I, Rory Wojcik, do solemnly swear
that I will well and truly perform
that I will well and truly perform
the duties of council member
the duties of council member
of the city of Carrollton
of the city of Carrollton
to the best of my skill and ability,
to the best of my skill and ability,
without favor or affection.
without favor or affection.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I'm not the holder
that I'm not the holder
of any unaccounted public money
of any unaccounted public money
due this state
due this state
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof.
or authority thereof.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I'm not the holder
that I'm not the holder
of any office of trust
of any office of trust
under the government of the United States,
of the government under the government of the United States,
any other state,
any other state,
or any foreign state,
or any foreign state,
which I am by the laws
which I am by the laws
of the state of Georgia
of the state of Georgia
prohibited from holding.
prohibited from holding.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I'm otherwise qualified
that I am otherwise qualified
to hold said office
to hold said office
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws of Georgia.
and the laws of Georgia.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Gets us down to the agenda item number 5, citizens' comments. Somebody has something they'd like to say, if they please come to the front. Try to keep it within 3 minutes, please.
Good evening. I'm General Barry Dalton of 150 Tony Drive, Carrollton, just outside the city limits. 2 months ago, I came before this body and offered to donate several $1,000s worth of model railroad equipment which had been in a system in my backyard but was inadvertently dismantled, and I'm looking for a good home for it. Now, 2 months ago, it precipitated a great article in the Times-Georgian, which has also caused a lot of interest in the city. Several people have just walked up to me and said, "Are you the train guy from the Times-Georgian?" I say, "Yes." And they say, well, when is something going to happen?" I say, "Well, you know as much as I do." And that's one reason I'm here tonight, to try to put a little emphasis on what the citizens are looking for. The Sertoma Club is very much interested in this. We had a meeting a few weeks ago at Jay Kane's house. Now, probably most of you know of Jay Kane. He has a wealth of knowledge about model railroads and railroads in general. And they were very enthusiastic. There were about 6 members of the Sertoma Club, Jay Kane and myself. And a lot of ideas were put forward that could make this a cash cow for the city. And they gave an example, Blairsville, where they get something like $10,000 a year out of a similar project, which is something that I'd like to see happen here. There's an awful lot of interest in railroads, particularly by elder people who grew up with them, and young people are wanting to learn. And I'm even getting letters. I got one today from a widow lady who used to visit my garden railroad when I used to open it up to the public to raise funds for the Kiwanis Club. And she was missing the opportunity to see it again. I'm sure if it was put up somewhere else, and I did mention, by the way, that I'm willing to oversee any reconstruction of this, as a service to the city. And I guess that's about all I've got to say, except to wish you all a great 2018 and a very rewarding one. Thank you.
Mr. Barry, I'd like to clarify something. It's a Civitan group. It's not
Excuse me?
It's a Civitan group, not the Sertoma group.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's a Civitan group. Civic group. Civitan is not the Sertoma.
I'm sorry, I still didn't catch that.
It's the Civitans. The Civitans group, Civic Club, not the Sertoma Club. No, sir. I mean, the group that's trying to work with you is the Civitans, not the Sertoma.
Sertoma Club is interested in supporting this project.
I mean, I thought it was the Civitan Club. The Civitan Club. Civitan Club, not Sertoma. Okay.
Six people with Sertoma, including Taylor Ash and Jay Kane at his home.
Okay.
It was a great meeting.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Chevette Bird. And what I have to say is going to take more than 3 minutes, so therefore I would ask that the buzzer that you normally have to go off not be used, because as a taxpayer, we have the right to speak because you all are paid by the taxpayers and you work for us. You work for us and not us working for you. And I feel that we should be allowed to speak until we're done. Before I speak, I would like to have anybody who's here to support Gerald Bird to please stand.
Thank you all.
And I would like to say that I'm here not because Gerald asked me to, because he didn't. I'm here as a constituent of West Carrollton. When I heard that Gerald was going to be removed as mayor pro tem and replaced with Jim Waters, I was puzzled and wondered why. The first thing that came to mind was something fishy is going on. Jim has missed numerous council meetings and never has anything to say. In a previous meeting, there was someone here from his ward asking who he was because she didn't know him. After she addressed her issue, he just sat there not responding to her. I have never seen where the mayor pro tem, once given the honor of the title, was replaced. I can understand this better if Gerald was not out giving his all, helping people, and not just the ones who look like him, but all. How many of you can say that you are here to help the underserved? Gerald has earned the right to be mayor pro tem. He gave up his personal life in his early 20s to fight for what was right, and now it's going on 18 years, and he is still fighting for all and the less fortunate. Forgive me, I'm nervous and a little upset. I feel that if Gerald looked like you all, then we wouldn't be here upset about this matter. I say it's racism, and you all should be ashamed. There is not one councilman up there, other than Gerald, more deserving of being mayor pro tem. Forgive me, like I said, I'm nervous. You all can say that it's not racism, but it is. I can tell how you all are always voting to knock down issues that pertain to anything that will help the underprivileged. For example, multifamily housing. Anything that's not for the rich is always voted down by this council. Again, I say shame on you all. You all would rather vote on golf course for frisbees and bikes for people to ride than things to help the poor. Gerald is always thinking of others, and that's why he deserves to be mayor pro tem. He works for all. Out of all the years that I have been coming here, I must say that this is the worst council that Carrollton has ever had. Each one of you know deep down that with his experience and years of service alone, he deserves to be mayor pro tem. A mayor pro tem serves as vice mayor, and if something were to happen to our current mayor, Gerald would then take the role of being Carrollton's first black mayor. Who wouldn't be proud of that? When evil men plot good, when evil men plot, good men must plan. When evil men burn and bomb, good men must build and bind. When evil men shout ugly words of hatred, good men must commit themselves to the glories of love. Where evil men would seek to perpetrate an unjust status quo, good men must seek to bring into being a real order of justice. And that was from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Maple Rogers from Rooteville, Georgia, and being a friend of Gerald Byrd, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I'm a member of his community and whatnot. And even though I live in Rooteville, I am interested in moving to Carrollton because of his active and supportive role here in Carrollton. So anything to do with giving human service housing that they're talking about doing on Osier Lane, anything in any part of the district of Carrollton, I'm interested in participating in, because we need community people living in our communities that care instead of just residents that just want to live somewhere. So any of that human service, police, fire stuff that's going on, I'm ready to do something about it so that people care about their community.
Thank you, ma'am.
Albert Gray, and I'm from Westside. I'm a native of Carrollton. And I once heard a wise man say, a squeaking wheel get all the grease. And that wise man happened to be Mr. Walt Hollywood. And I'd like to stand before Gerald. Gerald is our voice on Westside. You know and I know everybody can't speak for themselves. But Gerald do stand in the gap for those people. And he is the voice of Westside, and I don't see no reason. I think he's been doing a good job over there. And I can look through the air and hearing about the replacement, and I can look at Bristol Lakes, which is a newer place than Westside, but it looked like Little Vietnam. So the one that was over there haven't done his duties, because to me, that tells me he don't care, whoever was doing it. Bristol Lake have went to the bottom. West Side is still standing because of what Mr. Gerald doing, because he care. And I think the people that backing him up before he be moved, I think it should be the one that put him in here on a petition and see, do we want Bro Gerald to stay or we want him to move? That's all I got to say to y'all.
Anyone else?
Audrey North Smith, and I just want to say, for the past 11 years, I've had a Say No to Dope walking rally. What that is not just for the West Side. I live on the East Side, but I grew up and I was in a part of the world on the West Side, so I know the good and the bad on both sides. But what I'm here for tonight is to show support of the community. I don't see no color, because the places that I've worked and the places that I venture every week, and that is at the jail. And I help both races, all races. But in the 11 years that I've walked and I've invited, I've had, Mr. Hollingworth has walked with me, but there has not been 1 year that Mr. Byrd has missed. And when I say walk with me, I mean down Alabama Street. And we've rallied for a drug-free community. Might not be too much we can do, but we can show awareness, and that's what he has done for the ministry that I have. The things that we've seen differently is just community togetherness. I care. I may not be here every Monday because I do have other things to do. It probably would have been packed out, everybody is going in different directions, and I know it's a football game tonight. So, but my thing is, we need to all be aware of the love that's shown for people. It's not a who likes who the best. It's nothing like that. But it's what we're doing in the community. Whoever's supposed to be doing whatever, Mayor Pro Tem, I ain't never seen him other than here. I've never seen him walk out and walk with me or walk with anyone in the community, shaking hands. I don't think there's very many people that know who he is. But I know Gerald Byrd. I know his capabilities, and I know how hard he's fought for this community for a better Carrollton. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My funeral.
Anyone else? Seeing no one standing up, we'll move ahead.
Mayor Hollingsworth, may I say something, please? I would like to thank you all for being here today and for the things that you've said and stated, and I really do appreciate your support. And I'm glad that you all know. I mean, there's no mystery that I'm here for you, and I plan to continue to be here for you as well. So whatever I can do for you, please let me know. And my family knows that I've requested not to have a funeral. I guess we just had one, so it's nice to hear all those things. So thank you. That was supposed to be funny, that last part, but it's true. I don't want a funeral, but thank you for that.
Okay, moving along. Item number 6, minutes. Have y'all had a chance to review the minutes, and anybody want to make a motion on that?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, assume you're ready to vote. All in favor of adopting the minutes as read or written, please raise your hand. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 7, mayor and council announcements. You want to kick it off, Gerald?
Yes, sir. I would like to announce to everyone that a lot of my friends purchased animals this past Christmas, puppies, etc., from breeders and puppy mills and pet shops. But I would like to remind everyone that our animal shelter has a lot of pets out there, a lot of dogs. There's hamsters, guinea pigs, birds of many sorts and species that are available. Some are registered, some are non-registered, and anytime I go out there, each animal puts on a little show for me, begging me to take them home. So if you go out there, you're going to leave with one. So before you go purchase one, please go get one from the shelter, because they're having to put them down now, as you know. And thank you to Libby Duke for always taking time to work on any and every issue I send her way. I cannot tell you thank you enough, even if it's last minute or something that I totally forgot. This is Libby Duke, if you don't know her. Thank you to the citizens of Carrollton for reelecting me as well. I do thank you all for that, and I thank you for entrusting me in this position for so long. Thank you to all the city departments involved in dealing with any issues related to the December snow and ice storms. Also, to our first responders, our power crews, and helpful neighbors who loaned a hand to those in need. Thank you to everyone who came tonight in support of me. Again, it gives me a great renewed confidence to know that so many of you still believe in me. Also, Rory and I have a joint request to the city that the city staff explores savings through solar energy and or electric powered service vehicles. He and I had a brief meeting the other day about that, and we're very excited to begin to work toward Carrollton becoming solar. Thank you.
I just want to give special thanks to Erica Studdard with the branding, the new branding going on, being put on the police vehicles, I think all our other city vehicles. I think it looks good. Everybody I've heard is bragging on it, and thank you. I do want to address the Mayor Pro Tem, and I want to tell you what's going on. When we had the new mayor come on, and me, when we got elected 2 years ago, we read the charter, we saw that the Mayor Pro Tem, there was no provision on who selects the Mayor Pro Tem. And it was under our impression that it was being selected by the mayor. And I met with Mr. Byrd and Mr. Waters. We thought that was wrong, and we said, let's have a vote on it. We'll do it every January of every calendar year. And so that's how it's done. There's no removal. It's like an election that's held annually. And last year, we almost talked about rotating it through all the different city councilmen for a 4-year term, so all of us could be Mayor Pro Tem. But quite frankly, we decided not to. This year there was discussion, not about removing, just like, hey, maybe the rest of us would like to be mayor pro tem. I just want everybody to understand that's what's happened. There's no conspiracy or anybody thinks ill will of Mr. Byrd. I personally consider him a friend. I think he's done tremendous work for our community, for all parts of the community. He's done a lot of work for the people in my ward. So I just want people to know that. There is nothing ill will about that. So I do not like to be called a racist. I don't, ma'am, I'm talking. I listen to you. I'm not a racist, and that greatly offends me. And I think you can ask Mr. Byrd, and hopefully he'll tell you how I feel. But again, there's nothing sinister going on. That's what all was going on with the thing. And we'll see what happens tonight with Mr. Byrd. Again, I think he's done a great job. And but I just want to address that so everybody understand procedurally what happened. And that's what's happened. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I want to echo the compliments to our first responders and folks for the cleanup after the storms. I heard numerous compliments from lots of people throughout the city of how quickly limbs and things were all cleaned up from in front of their houses. You guys did a fantastic job, Mike Green. Thank you for all that, and everybody else that did help with that. I do want to say thank you to everybody that has voiced words of support and the folks that elected me. 2 years ago today, I realized, this morning I realized that 2 years ago today, I launched my website to start running for office last term. So 2 years ago, I was starting off trying to figure out how to do all this. I've learned a lot from the wonderful city staff. The mayor and council that is up here has been tremendous to work with. Chuck also down there. Tim, thank you so much for all the words of support, and really you guys have helped me learn how to fit into this role, and I've really enjoyed doing it, and I want to continue to work towards pushing for what had started us as the sustainable and deliberate growth for our community. I'm excited about we formed the Carrollton Corridor Development and Beautification Committee, and we will be pushing for new development of our commercial corridors in town. We're pushing, I think tomorrow we're going to planning and zoning with plans to help move those sorts of projects forward. Been very excited about what we've done over the last 2 years, and I'm excited for 4 more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim and Tim. I'm going to pass to.
I'll first just again want to thank all the elected officials for their support and all of the staff, particularly the department heads, for all that they do. This city is just in excellent shape, and our level of service is second to none, and we're constantly complimented on it, particularly after a storm like this. From our public safety people, our public works people, our rec department, our utilities, so I could go on, but I want to thank everybody involved in that. We have had a number of requests for changes to enhancements to city streets and different items that would cause traffic calming. We have people asking for speed bumps and traffic tables and three-way stops and that sort of thing. And a number of the council have called me and said, if they expressed concern that the public is asking for things that just won't work. And I just want to say that traffic is a very complicated thing. It is not intuitively obvious. And we actually found a written traffic policy that says how we will address those. So going forward, we're going to do our best not to just drop in a stop sign here or there, or a traffic table here or there, or restripe here or there. We're going to analyze the global effect of any modification we might make on the whole area. And so if you see traffic complaints take some time, that's because we want to do it right. We want to do it right one time. I know Councilman Byrd called me about a gentleman wanted a three-way stop on what is an extremely busy industrial corridor, and that is just not something we could do. And certainly Mr. Byrd recognized that. So If you see those issues come up and see them take some time, it's because it takes some time to have a consultant evaluate those, and that's how we're going to do that going forward, and that is the city's written policy. So thank you.
Item number 9, approval of agenda items for consideration.
So moved.
I think, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, if you could take off item number 4, the Greenbelt Spur payback agreement. We are not ready to address that tonight, and ask that you remove that. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Gerald jumped on me a little bit before I could get out of my mouth. I'm
Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, Gerald. We're got a motion to remove number 4. Have a motion and a second. All in favor of removing item number 4, please raise your hand. Motion carries. Moves us on down. Gerald, recognition, Mr. P.J. Ball.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I would like to come down, if you don't mind. And I'd like to ask PJ. Aren't kids a breath of fresh air? Good Lord. How you doing, PJ?
I'm doing great.
Great. I hear everybody's excited about some game tonight. Are you going to watch that?
Oh, actually, I'm not a big fan of football, but I would happily watch it to see what happens.
Well, don't feel bad, because guess what? I won't even say it. I don't like it either. All right, so I'm going to read this proclamation to Mr. PJ here. Let's give him a hand, first of all, guy. I hear you've been with Mr. Steve Harvey, right?
Yes, he was really nice and actually really tall. He's actually like really giant.
Taller than me?
Probably.
Oh, wow. And your parents are here too. Parents, y'all want to come up? Oh, Dad's right here. Oh, is that your little sister? That's Judge Cason's grand. Oh, okay. Oh, how are you going to watch? You want to come up here with us? Come on up. Oh. Well, this is a proclamation that the mayor and I put together for you, okay, with the help of that lady right there. She really wrote it, but she sure does make us look good. This is from the Office of the Mayor, Carrollton, Georgia, certificate of recognition presented to Philip John P.J. Ball, local actor and Team USA sport stacker.
Yes.
It is with great pleasure and tremendous pride that the mayor and council of the city of Carrollton express our sincere congratulations to PJ Ball for his achievements as a television personality and actor and Team USA sports stacker. Wow. PJ is an extraordinary young man who began gracing the covers of magazines at age 5 years and soon after began starring in stage productions, television commercials, and television programs, including Live with Kelly and Ryan. For real?
Yeah.
Wow. Is he tall?
Oh, well, actually, they are probably around my height.
Tiny. Yeah. Celebrities are tiny. Oh, that's Ryan Seacrest. The Steve Harvey Show. Little Big Shots. I think that's my mama's favorite TV show. Wonderama. I don't know if I know what that is. Oh. And Kids too. PJ is known worldwide as a Team USA Sports Stacker champion, receiving various medals in regional, national, and world sports stacking competitions, including the Junior Olympics, and has been certified since 2014. How old were you in 2014?
I was 9.
Oh, wow. Since 2014 as a Team USA world-class sports stacker. PJ is also talented in martial arts, where he holds a black belt in Taekwondo and is to be commended for his initiative, enthusiasm, and willingness to work hard to be the best in all he pursues. The city of Carrollton is pleased, all of us, aren't we? We are pleased to publicly commend PJ Ball for the fine publicity he has brought to our city and present to PJ the certificate of recognition and an expression of the affection and admiration from the mayor and council. Right, y'all? Mayor and council and all the citizens of the city of Carrollton, Georgia. In witness whereof, I hereby to set my hand and the cause the seal to be affixed this 8th day of January 2018. Signed, Mayor Hollingsworth and Mayor Pro Tem Gerald Byrd. Let's get a picture with your dad real quick, right?
Okay.
Can you send that to me, Dad? No, PJ taught me to, no, I'm playing. PJ's actually going to do this for us right quick. Now, tell us what you're doing.
Okay,
PJ.
so I'm going to do a little kind of like demo, which I actually did on the Live with Kelly and Ryan show. And so, yeah, I'm pretty much going to do a quick like 20-second little kind of like, I guess, trailer of what I can do, kind of. Yeah.
Pictures. All right, PJ. Oh, and I would like to thank Thea, too, because you introduced me to PJ after that meeting with the kids the other day. So thank you very, very much. And Libby, thank you for your help as well in bringing this table here today. Dad, Mom, last minute. So what do? Do we count down and say go or something like that? All right, let's count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. PJ ball! PJ! Now, if football could be that entertaining, I'd actually watch that game tonight. But thank you, everybody. Let's hear it for PJ again, everybody. Man, that was awesome. Your kids would like to see that. Trying to do it. For birthday party. Looks 5. That's like 2014. Were you born in 2014?
Bring us down to item number 2 on the subsection 9, Mayor Pro Tem appointment. Tim, you want to take it from here? It's got your name back.
Oh, I don't know why it's got my name by it. I don't get to nominate anybody,
Yeah,
and I'm thankful that I don't. So we'll just open the floor for nominations.
I'll nominate my good friend Gerald Byrd. And this was the plan actually before the meeting tonight, but the comments, we heard them loud and clear. I don't necessarily agree myself with everything that was said, but that's all right. Gerald's done a great job, and I'd like to nominate him for another year.
I would like to second the nomination. He's my good friend, Councilman Jim stole my thunder. I got to nominate Gerald in 2016 and 2017 for Mayor Pro Tem, and I know he knows that. He's done an outstanding job, and like we said, this was all decided a while back that we wanted to renominate you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. So I'm glad to be able to second it.
Well, I'm only going to accept it because of what happened tonight, and it was quite emotional for me, and you really scared me. I thought, oh, Lord, where is he about to go with this? So I accept. So that was very surprising, and I'm very pleased with the things you all said. Thank you. Oh.
We got to vote on it first. Yeah, we still got to vote, Chair.
I accept.
All in favor of electing Gerald back Mayor Pro Tem, please raise your hand. Motion
You're
carries.
so narcissistic, voting on myself.
Erica, we're calling on you on this one. Rezoning request.
Yes, the rezoning request on the agenda tonight is actually the request that was tabled at your last regular meeting in December. The request is to rezone a particular piece of property from C2, which is commercial general, to basically apply the senior housing floating zone to construct 102 apartment units for active adults, which is 55 and over. And the conditions are included in your packet, and I'll read them individually. Sidewalks may be constructed as shown on the binding site plan. The site plan and architectural elevations are binding to the approval of the zoning. An increase in allowable density from 10 units per acre to 10.3 units per acre. The cemetery located at the southwestern boundary is to be preserved and protected. Flexibility is given to the number of parking spots needed with the results of the parking assessment, which has been provided. The trees that are along the south property line adjacent to 160 Highway 113 are to remain. A binding landscape plan has also been provided to you in your packets this month. The facade of the back of the building facing Highway 113 shall contain features to appear as though it is the building front. And then also a buffer of 8-foot to 10-foot evergreens, non-leland cypress, will be planted along the property line separating commercial from residential on the southern portion of the property. During your meeting, your December meeting, you voted to table the request so that the applicant could submit a traffic impact analysis of the development and then also a landscape plan. Daily of those have been submitted and are in your packets. The trip generation study that they provided basically showed that the daily and peak traffic counts for this particular type of use are actually very low. And that the development will have little impact at full build-out on both Highway 27 and Highway 113. We also submitted the landscape plan that I just mentioned, showing the additional hardwood trees and the dedicated green space for the development, and then also that evergreen buffer that was in the conditions that the Planning Commission adopted. If you have any questions, I'm here. We also have a representative from the developer. The gentleman, Mr. Tommy Ward, is actually out sick, so he did send someone else, if you have any questions.
I got one quick question for Erica. One thing was mentioned about a sidewalk along 113. Is that in the landscape plan?
That is not currently shown in the landscape plan, so if you wanted to add that as a condition.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the rezoning request with staff recommendations with the additional installation of a 6-foot sidewalk along 113 on the side of that building, or on the side of the property on 113.
Yeah, we need to hang on to that thought just a second. Is there any discussion from you guys up here?
I had a question for the representative, if he's here.
She.
Oh, she's here. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to say he. I didn't know you were she, but welcome. I wanted to ask you, a young lady came to see me the other day, and she was pretty much outraged by this project. And not that I agree with her, but she said that a person like me wouldn't qualify to live there, and you have to make a certain amount of money to live there or something to that effect. Could you elaborate on that at all? I think you have to be considered like, I guess I'm considered low income, but she said if your income was too high, you couldn't live there, and I don't know, but could you
Correct.
illuminate if you don't mind?
This is affordable housing, so you would have to. Sorry, this is affordable housing, so you would have to qualify for that, and it would have to be $13,000 to $33,000, I believe. I'll have to look at the exact numbers, but
Okay.
and I can get you those.
I think she was just trying to get a reaction out of me. I was just curious. I didn't know what the numbers were. Okay.
And it's elderly housing, and it's 55 and older.
Okay. So it's 55 and older, low income housing. That's what it is.
Affordable housing, yes, sir.
That should make my sister happy out there, especially if we vote in favor of it, which I plan to.
And I did want to tell Roy, the sidewalk that could possibly be in the right of way, so we will have to look into that. So it shouldn't be a problem, but we'll need to look into that.
Yeah, I think it may change slightly, the landscaping plan, but I think just working with Tommy and working with Erica,
Right.
we'll be able to figure that one out. Thank you.
Councilman Wojcik, the sidewalk that you're referring to, will it tie in at all? And I guess we need to make that one of our projects eventually, to tie a sidewalk into Ingalls, because I'm slowly encroaching. Encroaching isn't the right word, Tim, but approaching Ingalls from West Carrollton with sidewalks. We have new ones coming in, but it'll be neat to eventually tie this area into access to the grocery store out there as well. And that shop, not just grocery store, but that shopping center as well. So,
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this is just, while we're redeveloping it, what we need to do is make sure that the city is not incurring the cost of, because sidewalks do get quite expensive as we're building them around town. It is extremely important to connect people to those services, like Ingalls and everything else that is around there. That was one of the things that I saw as being a quality addition to make sure that affordable housing does have the same sort of connections to town as other housing might.
Amen.
Any other questions?
Can I ask a question of the council?
Sure.
You're stating you want the sidewalk on 113 and not going through the development down to 27.
There are already sidewalks that are going to be throughout the development. I'm not sure.
The sidewalk, there's already a sidewalk.
On North Winds Boulevard. But I believe it goes all the way down to 27, but there is no frontage on 27 of this property, correct?
And the sidewalk plan's actually in your packet. You can see where the sidewalks are shown. But the one on 113 is not shown, and that's the one that Councilmember Wojcik was wanting to add.
So the sidewalk would just go between where you turn in and go back down to development? I
It would
missed that one.
basically be that entire 113 frontage. I think what the request would be would basically to have that portion at least built, right, basically that whole 113 frontage, in addition to what's already shown on the plans.
So basically, it's going to be a sidewalk going to nowhere.
Well, hopefully we'll connect it at some point.
Has the height been reduced of the buildings? They look shorter than they did last time. Are they not? Oh, it hasn't been reduced? Okay. Okay, good.
The elevations have not changed.
Okay, good.
Any more discussion?
We technically had the public hearing on this last month, and this was tabled, but just out of abundance of caution, I would just ask if there's anybody else here to speak for or in opposition to the request.
So duly noted. Is anybody here to speak for or against? Yes. It's got a 2-year waiting list, I think.
Park Place.
Yeah.
Park Place, on the front of Park Place, it looks 2-story, but if you drive to the back, the second story can be accessed from the ground. So, but you can also take the stairs to the second story as well. No, it's just stairs.
There are elevators in this project, though. Yeah.
Because this is an interior, this is like a hotel. It's not a hotel, but it's done in the style of a hotel where you walk down a hallway to get to your house and you unlock a door. And
Each unit is only on one level, so you can get to an elevator to your floor, and then you're not going up and down stairs within your unit. So that would help with that, with what you're talking about. I think what we're going to see is probably more of this sort of higher density for both senior and just multifamily. And they do have access through the elevators to get to it. And what we are seeing is the traffic impact is not going to shift on peak hours on that road. So what we've been able to see is the impact to it will be minimal in terms of traffic. But I definitely hear what you're saying in terms of making sure that people are good.
Does anyone else want to weigh in? If you do, please come to the mic. Hearing, seeing no one, I assume we're ready. Any more discussion here?
I was just going to, I know your motion. I was going to second your motion.
Have a motion and a second, or any more questions? Assume you're ready to vote. All in favor of this project, please raise your hand. Motion carries. All opposed? Nobody opposed. Good deal. Chuck, just coming to you. Noise issue.
As we talked about at our last meeting, and since then I've been looking at our current noise ordinance, and I've been comparing it with noise ordinances in other what I would consider to be comparable jurisdictions. As I think everybody on the council knows, probably everybody in the audience knows, that there are really two primary problems with our current noise ordinance. The first is that it's old. It's been on our books since at least 1975, and as far as I can tell, it's never been or it's remained unchanged since then. The second problem is that it only speaks in qualitative terms. It doesn't have any numeric noise limits. I would say that that's true of a lot of other jurisdictions that are comparable to ours. As I mentioned last time, a lot of times what happens when these things come out is the Georgia Municipal Association puts forth a model ordinance, and a lot of jurisdictions adopt the model ordinances, so they tend to be the same when you're looking around the state until somebody changes it. There are some, however, that I would consider to be more modern. There are some that do contain numeric noise limits. One of those is Marietta's. It was adopted in 2005, so it's by 35 years or so more modern than ours, and it does contain specific noise limits. During the past few weeks, I've tried to reach out to some folks. I've discussed the issue with the Carrollton Payroll Development Authority. Why the Carrollton Payroll Development Authority? Well, among other things, they own property out in the industrial area. One of the things, as you guys know, that they do is they market that property and they try to foster economic development in the area. They also deal more directly with some of the affected industry in that area than I do. So what I have put together, and I was working on this actually as recently as this morning, is a resolution which repeals our current noise ordinance and replaces it with something that is similar to, but not identical to, the one that Marietta has. And I'm passing copies out to the mayor and council, and in the interest of time, I just want to hit some of the highlights. If you flip over to the 5th page, you will see that there are numeric noise limits. There's a table. And the way essentially this works is it's based on the receiving property. So you look at the property that's receiving the noise. And then there are different noise limits depending on the type of property and also during the time of day that we're talking about. So there's a noise limit, for example, if the property is residential, and that noise limit is different in the daytime than it is in the nighttime. There are different standards if the receiving property is industrial. As you might expect, the noise levels are higher if the receiving property is industrial because they don't tend to be as noise sensitive as, say, residential areas. The standards, the noise levels are set forth in the ordinance. Just to hit a few more highlights and then whatever questions you might have, there are certain exemptions in the ordinance for things like emergency equipment, burglar alarms, things that are regulated by OSHA, marching bands, choirs, et cetera, during certain hours. There is also a list of restricted activities. So this is more like what we currently have, but in addition to the actual sound levels, there are restrictions on things that you can do, for example, mowing your lawn, during certain hours of the day, unless you can otherwise comply with the noise limits. It sets forth not only a process for determining sound levels, but it also sets forth sort of a chain of command within the city. It calls for the designation of a noise control administrator, who then has the ability to appoint noise control officers, who are then supposed to be trained in the use of the equipment and, in theory, go out, and if there are violations of the noise ordinance, then they are authorized to issue citations for those violations. Towards the end, there is some flexibility in situations where you need a temporary reprieve from the noise ordinance. Let's say that something comes up that for a couple of days the noise ordinance needs to be exceeded. There's a process whereby you can go and get a temporary permit from the city to exceed the noise limit. So there is some flexibility that is designed to, allow for emergency situations and whatnot. And then the enforcement procedures, I mentioned the citations, and essentially if you're cited for violating the ordinance, then you're subject to the general penalty provisions that we already have in the ordinance. So that is it in draft form.
I've looked at this. It's 10 pages long. I'd like to make a motion this gets tabled and we give 30 days for the citizens and industry and business to review it So I make a motion that we table this.
I'd like to block that motion because I want to talk a little bit more about that because it does concern not only my constituents but myself as well. I'm one of the residents of the neighborhood who has had to tolerate that. So I would like to remove your motion or block it or however you say it.
You gotta hold on, Mr. Byrd. You gotta wait till it's seconded. If it's not seconded, then it's been blocked.
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor to table. Do I have a second to go along with that? Have a second.
To table
the
item.
To table the.
Yeah, that's fine. Table it.
For a month to get citizens' comment back
That's
and get it
fine.
out in
Do
public.
it. Go for it.
And let the businesses involved take a look at this. So
Gerald, you still have the opportunity to comment on it. I mean, there's a motion and a second, but you can comment on it.
Well, I would like to say I'm going to host a town hall meeting, and I would like for the city staff to be there, any elected officials who are concerned as well, industry to be there to hear the stories from the people who have suffered, and the word is suffered. We've suffered through the holidays. We suffer every single day. My dog was just totally delirious today, barking at what sounded like a helicopter sitting on top of my house, and I'm not exaggerating one single bit. My constituents are telling me they can't be here tonight because they're elderly. A lot of you may not know, but I live in an elderly subdivision where the people are over 55. I'm the youngest person in the neighborhood. I feel really sorry for them that they can't sleep at night and that they're suffering. And I want them to know that I not only sympathize with them, but I live with them, so I know what they're going through. And I am going to plan a town hall meeting where we can look at all this. And I do like the way some of it sounds, but a lot of our efforts have been futile, and I look forward to finding a solution, even if it means going to those industries which have benefited from our enterprise zone. They've received tax abatements from being in the area because of the poverty in the area. So if you make the people suffer who are there and you're taking from them and you're receiving tax abatements and they can't sleep, there's something wrong with that picture. So I say, as a part of this solution, what I'm going to introduce is an idea or a plan to have them invest in the companies around there that have benefited from the people of that area. Since the people are suffering, they've built their success on the backs of these people. So I think they should be made to pay for an I-285 style barrier between that neighborhood and those companies. Thank you.
Gerald, let me say, I realize this is an important issue, and so I am more than happy for people to provide feedback to me. I know ultimately it's my responsibility to prepare things for y'all's consideration, but I would be the first to admit that I'm not a noise engineer. You know, I'm taking this from another jurisdiction, but I welcome if people have a better approach or better ideas. I'll be glad to be the point person for people to share those with, to have sort of, I guess, a clearinghouse, for lack of better words.
Well, I'll check my calendar and I'll work with them. We'll concur and come up with a time to meet and discuss it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor with a second to table this for a work session, or just time frame?
It would be tabled until the next meeting, but that doesn't preclude you from having a work session between now and then.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. And then I'll make sure some of them are here when we actually vote on it and discuss it. And I know y'all are ready to go see that game, so I'll stop.
So all in favor of tabling the motion till next month, please raise your hand. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Board appointment, Ms. Studdard.
We had one more board of director for the Carrollton Main Street Board of Directors whose term expired last month. This one slipped up on us because it was a gentleman who had filled an unexpired term when Chris Duffy resigned in April of 2017. The Main Street Board of Directors recommends that Mr. Chad Houck remain and be reappointed to a new 3-year term expiring on November the 30th, 2020. Mr. Houck's been a good asset to the Board of Directors thus far, and we expect him to continue to be.
Any questions?
I like Chad. I move we keep him.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand.
You're good. You're good.
Gerald, y'all made the motion. That's all in favor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion carries 5-0. That pretty much concludes what we've got here. We are going to go into an executive session to discuss some litigation with Mr. Connolly. That will pretty much conclude what we've got. We'll come back if you want to wait, but there won't be anything really discussed. Thank you very much for coming out.
We need a
voicing your
motion.
opinions. Got a motion to move into an executive session. I'm sorry. I have a motion, second. I have a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you for helping be honest.
Y'all, let's just step back here. This will take 5 minutes.
I perspired up here today. So,
Here's gonna be the problem.
What's the deal? What y'all gonna do? What is seven?
I didn't know they were gonna do that. I just told you I perspired while they were talking, because it's scared.
I think we can do that.
I knew my sister was working up something. I didn't know it was gonna be to that degree. And I told you, with me, it don't matter to me.
I know, you did.
Sidewalk?
I did, and I'm still being there.
You know I wanted to say that.
We'll see if we could take
should
a
have said
little
it.
piece where those
I
parking
said
lots
it. I
meet.
said, well,
and
no,
we're just
I
looking
don't
at
care.
it, and then come back to
The
y'all.
only reason why I do care is because they're here. Thank you very much.
And by the way, and it's too late to clean it up, but I know now why they
Oh,
had,
this
she
does
had my
fit.
name in front of it, because I asked her to put my name in front of it, so I could explain how the process
Oh,
worked.
okay.
And Med had already done it, so my apologies to you, Libby. That's my mistake. No, she makes.
No, no, we're supposed to have a motion. I need a motion to come back into session so we can close this out.
I move we go back into session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Gerald?
Oh, I had my hand up.
I'm sorry. Motion carries. Everybody's got to sign up.
Are we done? Did you adjourn?
Not yet. Haven't adjourned yet, no.
Actually, the mayor can just adjourn.
Now we're looking for Jim. Other Jim.
Did you adjourn us?
Not yet, not yet. I'm waiting on Jim to come back in and sign his affidavit. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can do that till he signs, can I?
You can sign it after the.
Motion, we adjourn? So do I have a motion?
So moved. I
So
already
moved.
made it.
This meeting's over. Thank you.